Hey guys, what's up? I'm JT, and this is my buddy CC, and we're gonna do CC and the Bear podcast, but video-wise. This really worked out with me and my buddy Rob Kimmons. So we just got
look good.
Well, duh.
You look good.
But you look tired, like what we're gonna talk about. But we just got done watching the LC Davis Joe Warren fight on Bellator. Just basically watched a grind, a hug fest. There wasn't a whole lot of fighting on going down. I don't like wins like that. I understand the game of it, like to be able to hold someone down and to do it that way, but I just feel like there's other ways. You know, does that make sense?
Well, yeah, it's not exciting to watch really, but I mean, if maybe people need to get better at getting off their backs.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't get somebody off of you and they're just beating on you, then you know, it's not their problem. That's their skill set. Like a guy like Ben Askren, who's kind of known to be like a boring fighter, but he wins a lot.
Well, you know, because he's like a collegiate wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's at the the highest echelon. That's his game. But that's the thing. If you're going up against that guy, you better bring in the best wrestlers you have or you know.
Yeah.
To try to be like, guess what? We're gonna do nothing but get up.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what. It's tough to say what. I mean, obviously, I don't know shit, so.
I'm going to talk like I do.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and act.
I'm going to tell these professional fighters.
Yeah, I'm going to act like I know
what
better.
to do.
But I've heard a lot of people talk about that where you're fighting this jiu-jitsu guy, so bring the jiu-jitsu guy in, or you're fighting a wrestler, bring the wrestler in, which, I think you probably do need to at least feel what the top-notch wrestlers feel like before you get in the cage or the ring or whatever, but it's hard to, like if I wanted to go up against a wrestler who'd been wrestling since he was like 6 years old, it's like I'm not going to be able to wrestle the same way he does, just to see, like, you still got to just rely on what got you to the dance, I guess.
Yeah, I
as I assert knowledge that I don't, have.
Hey, I mean, we're going to be on the internet, so it's like you got to at least
it becomes true once it hits the internet anyway.
Well, we were jonesing for a fight, so we ended up watching the Joe Schilling Simon Marcus four-round battle. That was a really good glory fight. So we got to do that a little bit.
That was a good fight.
It was, I really like Glory. I do like the full Muay Thai, but Glory is about as good as you're gonna get because
it's exciting. It keeps it exciting. Yeah. It seems like all the fighters they've got too are really. It seems like the highest level kickboxing that I've ever seen. Yeah. I grew up watching that like PKA
karate in the bowl.
Yeah, in the bowl with the nylon pants, what I'm talking about?
The Rex Kwon Do.
Yeah, the Rex Kwon Do pants.
Yeah.
Because my dad, I grew up with point karate stuff. My dad's a Bushidokan guy, and so that was what we always watched, and those guys, some of those guys were really good, but it's not the same thing as what you're seeing with Glory.
It's a different game.
Yeah, I feel like those Glory guys are just it's like a fusion of that technique and athleticism and everything, and more toughness than you saw on the kind of point. What are you doing there?
How about you just pretend like nothing happened?
Well, I can't. I would, but your face was going.
No, it was. Oh, I was moving this way. Mm-hmm. See, now people know that it moved. It's so ridiculous.
It was the camera guy moving the thing.
PKA karate.
Did you ever watch any of that?
Yeah, I did. I remember when Pat Barry. Do you remember the teams? It was I think
International
Utah.
Fight League, was that?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's the MMA teams.
No,
right?
Well, okay, those were there, but no. The last incarnation, I think it was of some kind of karate organization, was.
Uriah Hall was on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
and Pat Barry was, and it was still in the bowl, and it was.
That was Boss Rutan's thing, wasn't it?
Was it? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I thought he had something to do with that.
It wouldn't surprise me. The Boss, I mean, he's
in
a lot of.
I'm gonna go ahead and assert that.
I just watched. Have you ever seen the Smashing Machine?
No, I haven't.
You need to watch it. It's a good documentary. It's about Mark Kerr.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that. I haven't seen it.
Boss Rutan's in it, and
he's always entertaining.
Yeah, dude, he's a blast. But no, that's a really good, just straight documentary. But it's a pretty cool MMA documentary because it talks about like him starting drugs.
Oh yeah.
And well, not starting, but like his kind of downward spiral into like drugs and steroids and opiates. Like at one point, he gets done with a fight and ends up asking one of the Japanese doctors. He was like, "Do you have opiates?" And he's like, "No." You're gonna have to go to like a real. You're gonna have to go to a doctor to get those. And he's like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, so that was. But Boss Rutan trains him for his when he did the Pride tournament. That spoiler. Mark Coleman ended up winning.
Okay.
In that, so yeah.
Yeah, that seems pretty interesting. There's some pretty good documentaries out there regarding fighting, and also, I just saw one that I was gonna recommend to everyone. Oh, is that Honest Liar?
To the 3 people.
An Honest Liar.
Dude,
did you watch that?
Is that the one with
the Amazing Randy?
Yeah, I've watched that. That was messed because it goes along and you're like, man, and then it takes this drastic turn and you're like, wow.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that one's
good.
That one's pretty good. Champs, I hear, is really good about the boxing. I think it's
I've got that on my
Lewis and
my instant.
You know what? The one I really dig, and it's a Generation Iron. Did you see that?
Yeah,
I really like that.
Well, Pumping Iron is one of my all-time favorite.
That's a good movie.
Just comedy, spank bank material combo kind of.
Spank bank material. I love that.
It's that's just a classic.
No,
Arnold has some classic lines in that.
Well, yeah, like the calming, the pomp, and then do you drink milk? And he's like, milk is for babies. Drink beer. But well, and then I like the backstory to it where they ended up like Arnold didn't even train for that Olympia. Like he had been doing movies. Like he was just they needed a movie, so he's like, I'll come back and do it. And without really even training, he destroys Lou Ferrigno and that dude from France. That dude from France was pretty jacked.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but yeah, Arnold's just there was something special about his build. It was unlike anyone else's. It was like you'd watch in the movie, and even as a bodybuilding kind of connoisseur, you could tell when Arnold walked out, like, oh yeah, he's obviously got the best build. Like there was really no comparison.
It's like almost like a different level.
Yeah, like, he had something special going on. There was something different with him.
I didn't like how I was down here.
You were slouched.
And, not slouched, but it looked like I was a lot. See, I don't really like that.
Well, whatever. You ever watch the Hodge twins?
The Hodge twins?
Okay. Everyone should look up the Hodge. All 3 of you should look up the Hodge twins.
We have 3 now?
Yeah, 3 now.
I like whenever I'm like making a new group or something. I'll just like it's the only people that like it are my family. I'm like, that's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks.
Like no one else, just family and like 4 friends, and then they like it, and then there's like nothing else. Like you'll put stuff out like, I really need questions and comments, and like that's nice.
Oh yeah.
I like.
You go.
Yeah. No. Not.
See you Thanksgiving. That's good stuff.
No. That's what are you talking about?
Hodge twins is like these 2 like hilarious black dudes that give workout tips and advice, and they do these videos where they're like always fighting like over the position, and they're making jokes, and you really just have to see it to understand the. We'll watch it after this.
Oh yeah.
We'll put a little Hodge twins like square box in the bottom.
That's even too much production. We'll just watch it and then tell them what's going on. Just like, so they're doing their thing. Bro Science is really good. My buddy Jake turned me on to that. The dude, he does the different stages of working out. He's like, you're a noob. and then you turn into a gym rat. Then you become a monster.
Oh,
that's funny, dude. It's a good.
Oh, check that out.
Hey, put that on your list. You 3 put that on your list.
Hodge twins.
Have
you seen the documentary on Netflix, Imposter or The Imposter?
Dude. Okay. Do you think that they killed their kid?
I think they killed the kid.
You think they killed the kid?
What do you think?
I think it's hard because the guy that they're like getting information from is a complete total liar.
Yeah.
But why would you keep going?
That private detective was kind of interesting to me.
Yeah.
The fact that he was very convinced of it as well. And
well, that definitely changes things because that guy, sees a lot of liars and fakes and follows a lot of people, and then for him to kind of get that, that's a great one.
Yeah, that was good.
I can't remember who it was. I made someone sit down and watch it, and they were like, what? Is this like a movie? I'm like, no, this is.
It's almost shot so well that it's like almost unbelievable because you're like, this is too good of a documentary to be true.
Well, I got done watching The Jinx. It's on HBO, but it follows this guy Robert Durst. I've
heard about that.
Well, he killed his wife and he killed his neighbor. Mm-hmm. And he allegedly killed his wife. They haven't found her, but he got acquitted of killing this guy. He killed him, but it was self-defense. Mm-hmm. But he cut the body up and was dressed as a woman, like in disguise, like
it seems natural.
Totally messed up. And it spoilers, but in the last episode, so they find a note. And it's written in the same. So another woman died that was related to him, but she was going to come out, basically, and tell everyone that he did it or that he hired someone to do it because she was really close with him. Mm-hmm. That allegedly killed his wife, and so she ends up dead. And they look at her mail, and they find a letter from Robert Durst. Well, it was a check that he had given her, just because the dude's one of the richest families, just handing out money. Mm-hmm. And
I'll take some.
They look, and they look at the writing, and then they look at the writing that the killer or whoever left a note saying that there was the body there, and they matched identical. Mm-hmm. So they show him at the end with it, and he goes. So he's like, like freaking out, like he's like.
Does he do that?
Yeah, he does that. He goes.
Really?
Like he's just burping and doesn't know where to look and everything like that, just freaking out. So then he's still mic'd up and he's in the bathroom and he's like, of course you did it. Like talking to himself, he's like, and it could be thinking to himself, of course they think you did it. Mm. Like he's just a weirdo talking to himself. But just the way he's like, man, and then you had to burp and you just look so guilty. You're guilty. You're guilty. Mm. And you're like, oh no, but it's just so creepy the way they do it because they, like that Imposter documentary, they do the reenactments, but it's just blurry enough and just not, kind of creepy the way they reenact it that way. But yeah, that's a good series to watch too.
I'll check that out.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, that one's good. What about music? You listen to anything good lately?
I've been trying to give country music a shot because I went to Texas, that XIT rodeo I told you about that I went to. Mm-hmm. I went down there and played, and there was a dude, this country singer, Cody Johnson, I saw him live, and it was the first country show I'd ever seen live that wasn't just cheese dicked out and kind of turned into a pop. Twangy pop thing. This guy was he was out riding bulls and shit. He's a legit cowboy.
Was he singing on a bull?
No, he wasn't.
That's pretty. Because that would go into the realm of metal.
But he's got a hell of a voice, and his band. It was like seeing a rock, classic rock kind of act. It was rock, and so that kind of turned me. It's there might be some
type.
It was kind of like that, yeah.
Okay.
So it was kind of okay, maybe there's some guys out there that are really good. So I've kind of been trying to search out some of those. As far as... I've been listening to the new Trivium songs as well.